From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning of Mornings LA with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2022. As 2 stimulus have become law and they have landed. Have you gotten those big checks? I'll show you how to get these checks in today's recording. A 4 stimulus check of $6,500 has landed and people have cashed it. Have you gotten it? I'll show you how to get it. And then a $15,000 to $80,000 4 stimulus check has landed as well. Both checks were done by executive action by Joe Biden. Plus, an MSC check has landed, averaging $24,000, $2,000 a month over 12 months. We'll go over those incredible checks in today's recording. But there's a lot of changing developing details for this big broadcast live from Santa Monica this morning. Supply chain disruption gets a new element. China. All the latest details, but first we'll start with the Build Back Better Act, $15,000 to $80,000 of checks that are likely to become law in a minute because the Congress is likely to call that vote on the Build Back Better Act in the next 30 days. Well, the economic data that came out this week that signals they need to do it quickly because the economy is stalling up. Then we'll be going to the next part of the equation, which is that SS300. You need that additional money for benefits because the price of gasoline is going up. But is that inflation going up or coming back down? Well, then we'll be looking at the price of gasoline and 6 stimulus, the price of wheat as well. Did the president get it right or did he get it wrong when releasing strategic reserves to battle Vladimir Putin? All the latest details on what's going on with that 6 stimulus today. And then we'll be turning to that big shocker as student loan debt has now been forgiven. Out of nowhere, the White House forgiving major student loan debt. But first, of course, we'll start with those big checks, 3 checks. The first 2 are 4 stimulus checks. A 4 stimulus check is $6,500 law. $15,000 to $80,000 stimulus check, a law. Then an MSC check, now law. How do you get it? You become a member, and throughout this 1-hour broadcast, we'll go over live on air these incredible checks that are now law. It's a big day, and I'm excited you're here. The toast is toast, and it may be a little bit higher because of inflation. The butter is buttering, and maybe a little bit higher because of supply chain disruption. And the bacon's missing. Well, you know, I'll blame it on the supply chain disruption. It's a big, bold, beautiful Mornings LA, and for the shores of Santa Monica, California, hope your day is getting good. It's going to get better because it's mornings. And good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day. From Santa Monica, California. We're live on air, and I'm glad you're here. Over the next 1-hour broadcast, we're going to go over those big checks that have now become a law, and they're huge. And I'm going to show you how to get them if you haven't gotten them yet. And if you've gotten one, I'll show you how to get the others. They're check A, B, and C. A 4 stimulus check, a law. Another 4 stimulus check, a law. And an MSC check, a law as well. Huge news across the board. If you haven't become a member, make sure you become a member to get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday that features how to get that check A, B, and C. Go to the top of the chat right now under the description. Become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP member. There's a lot going on with Build Back Better Act, and that's that economic data that came out in the last few days. It's big also for that SS300. Because is the U.S. economy stalling up or is on full force? Well, the latest details on that front today. Because remember, what that SS300 is based upon is whether the economy is too strong or too weak. Then we'll be looking at the recessionary concerns at issue that tease up 6 stimulus. The latest stimulus package that will be done in the month of April, that is the trifecta of Germany, France, and the United States. Remember, the stimulus packages overlap. We're doing 3rd, 4th, and 5th at the same time, but guess what we're also doing? We're also doing 7 stimulus. Out of nowhere, the U.S. government surprised us all with a major announcement of student loan debt forgiven. It's huge. And all the latest details on that 7 stimulus announcement that came in late at the end of last week. Then we'll be going over what the president's doing and not doing for oil, wheat, and grain, and why that price of gasoline at the pump this holiday weekend, last holiday weekend, was not any better across the board. Over this 1-hour broadcast, we have a lot of checks for you to get, so get back, get your pen and paper ready, get ready to take notes, and get ready to listen because we have huge checks, starting first with the Build Back Better Act. That Build Back Better Act, not a law yet, but likely to go to law very quickly because guess what? Congress is likely to call for a vote this month. Now remember, there's two forced stimuluses. There's the forced stimulus that Congress is doing and the forced stimulus that the president did by executive action. The president's executive action is law. Congress's is not law yet. Let's go over the Build Back Better Act that is in Congress right now. 3 classes of checks and 3 add-ons of checks, starting with the payout, a little bit less than $15,000 to $80,000, huge. In that first cluster of checks, we have hazard pay. Wow, great news. One more year, the earned income tax credit for my essential workers. $4,000 of elder care, $4,000 of care for young children. The CTC, $3,600 for young children as well. $550 check for college students, Pell Grant, $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle, and then home repairs. How do you get these incredible checks like cluster number 1? You tune into Evenings LA tonight in prime time when we're going to go over each of these checks in detail. It's 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'm looking for you tonight in that 1-hour special report. Cluster number 1 has a first add-on of $25,000 of checks. What is this? A little bit less than $25,000 for the purchase of your first home. Huge. The federal government give you a little bit less than $25,000 at the time of escrow for the purchase of your first home. Got in there via Maxine Waters from the shores of Southern California across the board. As we go into the second cluster checks, more money across the board. That second cluster has the huge money of paid leave and home repairs. Paid leave is a lot of money, folks. $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or more per year. And if you make $35,000, it's $800 a week. If you make $15,000, it's $400 a week. Paid leave is a lot of money. And what is it? It's if you have to stay home due to sickness or illness. It's $46,000 a year. W-2, 1099, you get it. And the great news is that it's in the second cluster. But what's also in that second cluster? Also in that second cluster is home repairs to weatherize your home. Wait up. Hold up right there. Raise your pens. Raise your bacon. Raise your coffee. We have a surprise. That's law. Yes, great news. That home weatherizing grant check, which was supposed to be in Build Back Better Act, currently still in the Senate, was made law by Joseph Biden by executive action. And that forced stimulus check is law, and viewers have got it. Remember, there's 2 ways you can have laws. Either Congress votes on it or the president does it by executive action. And that check has been taken out, and it became a law by Joseph Biden, your president, and that is check A. A $6,500 forced stimulus check is now law by executive action. Remember, the president can do laws by executive action. And that $6,500 check is now landed. Viewers have gotten it. I'm going to show you how to get it in just a second. It became law March 31st. Check B, oh boy, that was also in Build Back Better Act, but the president took it out and made it law. Amen. It is now law under executive actions. A forced stimulus check, $15,000 to $80,000. How do you get it? It's coming up in just a second. And then check C. Whoa, that is an MSC check, and it is now law as well. How do you get it? It's coming up in just a second. Let's go back into Build Back Better Act. We were currently in that House, that Senate bill. We are at the second cluster, and that paid leave is staying in there. The home repairs to weatherize your home is now law. Let's go into what is the second add-on of checks. The second add-on of checks is a little bit less than $250 billion of free home health care for seniors and people on disabilities. Wow. As we go to that third cluster checks, huge checks. Farmers checks, independent contractors checks, free checks for nutrition, and then the seniors checks, which are dental, vision, hearing checks, lowering the eligibility age of Medicare from 65 to 55, the Medicaid gap fix that will provide a workaround plan for uninsured people in 12 Republican holdout states, which is par for the course when senators say they're going to add checks to the recon. The other checks that they represent they would add in there, of course, are MSC. Monthly IRS stimulus checks to be added to the fourth stimulus Build Back Better Act bill currently in the Senate. How much? Who gets it? Let's go over the details. The legislators represent that if you got a third stimulus check, you would get this one. Single individual, $75,000 less, you get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, you get it. Family of 4, you get as well. Quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security or railroad benefits, you get as well. It's not income. It's not taxable. It goes off of the most recent tax return. If that had direct deposit, that's how you get paid. And it goes on a nationwide basis. Learn more about these checks in tonight's Evenings LALATE in prime time. Now, how much do they represent they want to pay you? They want to pay you, they say, $2,000 the first month, $1,000 after, for up to 6 months. That is $7,000 of 6 months of MSC checks in the Build Back Better bill, currently in the Senate. It's a bill, and there you go. But the great news is that compared to those 6 months of checks at $7,000, I got something better for you. It's Check C. Amen. Check C, folks, is law. It's not a bill. It's not sitting around waiting to be voted on. It's law. And it ain't 6 months, and it ain't $7,000. It's averaging $2,000 a month over 12 months, $24,000. How do you get this check? It's coming up later in this recording. Stay with me over this 1 hour broadcast. We have a lot of checks to get. But first, become a member. Get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday. The membership link is at the top of the chat. The pinned comment. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. The Build Back Better Act got some economic data the last few days, and the economic data was weak. What does that economic data mean? And we'll go over it in just a second. But the Federal Reserve is trying to battle the issue of inflation with interest rate spikes. Is the Federal Reserve doing it right or doing it wrong? Let me go over the equation with you right now. The campaign promise by Joe Biden, and then the presidential platform by Joe Biden, is to swap your benefits out from COLA to inflation, the benchmark for your benefits, from COLA to inflation. That would raise your benefits up. Why? Because inflation is a higher number. How high is inflation? Well, I had predicted all last year that inflation was going to come in at 8% in December and not be high temporarily, be high for a few months. Federal Reserve at the time said it was going to be 2 to 1% and temporary just for a short period of time. I said I don't buy it. Guess who was right? I was right. Because inflation came in at 8% in December. Then I said it was going to stay at 8% or go higher. January came in at 8%. February came in at 8%. What happened in March? Well, let me go over the analysis first across the board. The analysis starts with how this works. If Joe Biden made the swap from COLA to inflation, when inflation's 8%, that would raise your benefits up another $200 more per month, not just this month, not just this year, but lifetime. Because once your benefits go up, they never go down. Then if inflation tracks at 4% later this year, that's another $100. That would raise your benefits up another $100, and that would be SS300. So what's part of the equation? What's part of the equation is trying to gauge what Joe Biden is doing and what Jay Powell's doing, and what I'm trying to do as well. Let's go over the analysis. Joe Biden needs to make that swap from COLA to inflation when it's 8% because it's really high. It's not going to be any higher than that. That's what I've been saying for a while. But who's trying to bring down inflation? Jay Powell, your head of the Federal Reserve. And he's trying to bring down inflation by raising interest rates. Now, Jay Powell has an FOMC meeting every month. And he had a quarter basis point increase in the month of March. In the month of April, I'm predicting that he's going to do a half basis point, and then the month of May, another half basis point. What is Jay Powell saying he's going to try to do? He's saying he's trying to bring down inflation dramatically. And then he's trying to say he's going to get to 1.9% inflation by the end of December. Let's do that part of the equation first. Do I buy it? No. He's not going to get inflation down to 1.9%. It's going to get down to about 4%. So it's about another $100 for your benefits later this year. But what about right now? Is he going to get down from 8%? Where is it, the inflation right now? Let's go over the analysis. The inflation for the month of December 8, January 8, February 8. So where did that inflation come in March? And where did it come in April? Let's go over the economic data that came in the last few days. The economic data showed us in the month of March, the inflation was actually a little bit higher. Wall Street is looking for inflation to go up another half a percentage point. It went up a third of a percentage point. But when you look at the economic data that was industry specific or genre specific, it was actually hotter. Let's look at the numbers across the board. The Consumer Price Index number released late last week shows us what happened between the month of February and March. Food prices rose 1% for inflation from February to March. In case of ground beef, citrus fruits, and vegetables, they went up 2%. From February to March. Energy. What about energy from February to March? It went up 11%. That's huge. Overall, the U.S. economy showed inflation across all industries up a third of a percentage point from February to March. So the takeaway is that inflation is just about 8% or higher. So Joe Biden made that swap from COLA to inflation right today in April. I believe that inflation is at least 8%, maybe A little bit higher than 8%. It's not lower than 8%. Good. What about in May? What about June? Here's my analysis. My analysis is that Jay Powell will not be able to reduce inflation the way he says he can. Why? Because the breaking news today for April 17th, 2022 is that Jay Powell does not have the tools in his toolbox to bring down inflation because we don't have one, we don't have two, we now have three supply chain disruption stories. The first supply chain disruption story was coming out of COVID. What's supply chain disruption? The inability to get the products from the manufacturer or the grower to you. You can't truck it, you can't ship it because you're having problems with the supply of the chain of the products. That was our first supply chain disruption. We came off of COVID, a lot of people had demand for products, and there was enough shippers. That was pretty easy. Then came the second supply chain disruption, early February, when Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine. Suddenly the supply chain disruption at issue there. Oil, steel, wheat, lots of supply chain disruption. Jay Powell saw that by the March FOMC meeting. But what Jay Powell did not have at the FOMC meeting, and he will have for April, and this is, by my count, the worst of the three supply chain disruptions. It is, breathe deeply, China. China's supply chain disruption, number 3, has happened in the last 2 weeks. And for April 17, 2022, today, I got to tell you, this is the worst of the 3 supply chain disruptions. In China, there's a city called Shanghai. It is so large in population. It is larger than the state of Texas, but smaller than the state of Florida. And today, its entire city population is on lockdown. Why? Because of the Omicron subvariant. This is supply chain disruption unlike anything you've ever seen before in this equation. This supply chain disruption means that the products that they make can't get to us. The products we make there, we can't get to us. It also means that everything that's backed up will get further backed up. This is massive supply chain disruption. So do I think that Jay Powell can get down inflation based upon not 1, but now 3 supply chain disruptions? Absolutely not. I don't think he can do it. What you're going to see over the next few days is that Jay Powell and his Fed governors like Bullard, who has a very large advocacy, I was going to say something else, has a very large way to say his point, and Daly are going to talk about getting inflation down. That's what the Federal Reserve does. They try to talk down inflation. It's actually a tactic. Try to talk it down by mentioning it. But do they have the tools in their toolbox? No, they do not. So I think that if Joe Biden made that swap of coal into inflation right today, I think we're good. I think we're good throughout April. I think we may be good in May because I think the supply chain disruption out of China is very, very serious at the moment, folks. And that is good news for your SS300. Now, we also have good news as well for your Build Back Better Act. That good news is that the economic data that's been released in the last 7 to 14 days has been weak. When we say the economic data is weak, it means it shows the economy is not as strong. It shows the economy is missing on projections or stalling up. What happened in the last 7 days? The non-farm payroll jobs, a miss, less than 60,000 less than the projected number. The GDP number coming in at a miss, 6.9% growth for the U.S. economy, looking for 7.1%. And this is as GDP is likely to head down to 0, because remember, negative GDP is recession. Next, we had the housing starts, miss. 4 months of housing starts down. This is the number of homes sold, down for the 4th consecutive month. The number of cars being sold, down dramatically. The mortgage rate surging out of control to 5%, out of control. The only economic data that came in the last 7 days that was great was the unemployment number. The lowest number of new unemployment claims since the 1960s, and the lowest number of reoccurring unemployment claims. But what is the takeaway for you and I? That's all good for Build Back Better. Because the way that Congress works is when the economy and the economic numbers are weak or missing or not meeting projections, then they want to do stimulus. They want to do it. When the economy is too robust, too strong, they don't want to do it. Today, the economy is really missing. And that is good news for your Build Back Better Act, with the likely vote to come in the next 30 days. But guess what? You don't have to wait, because 3 checks are now law. Remember, we have 4 stimulus that's in Congress and 4 stimulus that the president took out of Congress and did by executive action. You can do things by executive action and make it a law. And a fourth stimulus check is now law. $6,500 check became law March 31st. How do you get it? It's coming up in just a second, right after the commercial break. That $6,500 fourth stimulus check is huge and is available nationwide. Then, a check B, $15,000 to $80,000 fourth stimulus check, now law. It's been law since March 4th. Notice these dates. These dates are very important. They've been law for now over a month, so you can't sit around and wait for these checks. You got to pounce. All these checks involve your effort, and I know you can do it. I know you can get these checks. Your checks involve an effort. And you want to get them right today because guess what? They will run out. And then check C, an MSC check. It ain't 12 months, it ain't 6 months, it ain't $7,000. It's averaging 12 months at $2,000 a month, $24,000. How do you get these big checks? You become a member. And after the commercial break, we'll go over how members have done so well. Purple Hawks, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system. As this channel approaches its 2-year anniversary, we've had millions and millions of viewers getting $35 million plus on this channel. Viewers have been getting these checks since early 2021. There are countless, thousands of comments daily on this channel. In the live chat, I congratulate the people in the live chat last night that indicated their success stories as well. If you have a success story, post it in the live chat right now. Whatever rent you got, utilities as well, because you inspire people. This channel's all about inspiring, like Mark, who had gotten $35,000. I inspired him. He went to $50,000. I inspired him more. He went to $100,000. And then he got check B just recently. He went to $166,000. We're winning. You're winning. And at the commercial break, we're going to show you how to win more. Those 3 checks, and then we'll go over 6 stimulus and a big shocker for student loan debt forgiveness. It's all getting started on a Big Mornings broadcast. See you back in 60 seconds as Mornings continues.
If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
And the excitement continues from the shores of Santa Monica, California, live on air from Mornings LALATE. It's a beautiful morning. I hope your day is going well. For April 17, 2022, exciting great news as 4 stimulus checks have now landed. And you need to make the effort to get the big checks. For people who do it, they get it. $6,500 check became a law on March 31st. I'll show you how to get it in the cover right now. A $15,000, $80,000 fourth stimulus check is landed as well. I'll show you how to get that check as well. And then an MSC check of $2,000 a month over 12 months landed as well. We'll go over each of these checks, check A, B, C, right after this opening remark. And then we're going to turn to the changing, developing details of that 6 stimulus package. Is the White House getting Germany and France on board to get it done, or are they going to have to do it themselves? We'll be looking at the oil, wheat, and grain situation. And are we going to recession? Boy, folks, it's getting dicey. All the latest details in this broadcast for Mornings. Then we'll be looking at student loan debt forgiveness. What a shocker. As student loan debt has now been forgiven for millions of citizens, it's a great news day, and it's just getting started. And from the shores of Santa Monica, California, I'm excited you're here. Let's get to the details right now. The President of the United States has the ability to make things law just like Congress. He does it by executive action. And the President of the United States in recent days has done a lot. He's done not less than 4 major moves on student loan debt forgiveness. We'll go over those in just a second. That's 7 stimulus. And then he has also taken 2 stimulus checks out of Build Back Better Act bill in the Senate and made them law by executive action. And these stimulus checks have now been cashed and gotten by viewers of this channel. And congratulations to all the viewers overnight who posted their success stories in the live chat. They pounced and they got those big checks. So let's go over how you can pounce and get these big 4 stimulus checks, which are now law. They're huge. They're great. And congratulations to the members who've got to them. They are Check A, Check B, and Check C. Get your pen and paper ready and get ready to listen and learn. And here we go. A $6,500 check became a law by executive action, a 4 stimulus check, on March 31st. It's called the Homeowners Weatherizing Grant Check. Let's go over that Check A to start. What is it? First, it's $6,500, but in some states, it's $12,000. Second, it's a 4 stimulus check. Third, it's law. Fourth, viewers have gotten it. And what is it called? The Homeowners Weatherizing Grant Check. What's the income qualification? Who qualifies for it? It is so wonderful. Single individual, $75,000 or less, you can get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, you can get it. If you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security or rural benefits, veterans benefits, you can get it as well. The last qualification is you own your home. That is huge, and that is why it's so simple, and that is why so many viewers have gotten it. This $6,500 check, where do you get it? How do you get it? First, you want to become a member. Go to the top of the chat, go to the description, and become a member of this channel today. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Then, open the newsletter that's delivered to you via the YouTube alert system Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. In that newsletter, the first few lines are about the oil, wheat, and grain prices, and then the next line is, check A, yes. It'll give you a little bit of description, and then we'll give you the link to apply. You apply online. This is easy. You can do it with your cell phone, or you can do it with your computer. You go right into a national website, then you choose your state like Mississippi, then you choose the grant, Homeowners Weatherizing Grant, and you apply and you pounce. And let's make something clear. That Check A, B, and C are all grants, meaning it's not income, it's not taxable, will not disqualify you for benefits, it's not a loan, none of them are loans, there's no credit check. So get that incredible Check A. As viewers have gotten them, I know you can get it as well. Let's go to Check B. Check B is a $15,000 to $80,000 4th stimulus check. It is law. Viewers have gotten it. They have cashed it. Viewers on average are getting about $66,000 to $80,000. And many of the viewers who are getting these checks are viewers who have gotten over $100,000 from 3rd stimulus from this channel before. How do you get this check? What is it? Let's go over the details. This is the Homeowners Grant Check. And the eligibility is just like the prior one. Single individual, $75,000 less, you can get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, you can get it as well. If you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, rural benefits, veterans benefits, you can get it as well. And yes, you have to own your home. And there you go. So how do you get this check? Same way as Check A, but a different website. First, you're going to become a member. Open that newsletter, and under that Check A in the newsletter will be Check B. You'll click the link. It'll send you into the national website. You'll see a map in that national website that looks like this. You'll choose your state, like Arkansas. Click the link, and you'll go right into the Arkansas website, and then you apply for your state. And when it says approved, you get funded in about 7 days. Wow, that is so incredibly easy. So that is Check A and B. So far, we're going over Check A and B, which are for homeowners. Let's look at the landscape of where we are right now. Check A, B, and C can be gotten by homeowners. Yes, if you're a homeowner, you can get Check A, B, and C. But if you're a renter, oh boy, get ready for the great news for you renters. You can get Check C. Across the landscape of the viewership of the channel, everyone can get a check, whether it's A, B, and or C. You're ready for C? Let's go to that Check C right now. Check C is an MSC check, baby. And boy, is it a lot. Remember, this is law. The Build Back Better Act is not law. The bill that's currently in the Senate is not law. What does it propose? They propose to add in there 6 months of checks, totaling $7,000. But this is a lot better than the Build Back Better. Oh, baby. This is 12 months of checks, $2,000 on average, and paying out now. Compared to 6 months of checks at $7,000, wow, this is huge. Where did this come from? This came from the viewers themselves. The viewers have been taught by me since late 2020 how to get these checks. When I had a preview of what third symbol is going to be, I show viewers how to get it. And viewers have gotten on average 45,000. This channel's gotten viewers as it approaches its 2-year anniversary in just a few days, $35 million plus. A lot of it from exactly this. And while I was telling viewers to get another round, 3 to 4 months, just a few weeks ago, viewers said, why not get another whole year? Whole year? Yeah, so viewers started getting a whole year of checks, and that bred the MSC. And now they're getting out an average $2,000 a month on average 12 months. But let's look at everything that they had done up to that point, which is par for the course of what we're dealing with. Viewers had gotten huge sums of money from this going into the last 2 weeks. Look at these numbers. $27,000 for Elizabeth, $25,000. We have thousands and thousands and thousands of viewers who have gotten massive sums of money. Over the last 2 years, we've gotten tens of thousands of viewers, approximately $35 million for these astronomical sums of money. So you can do it as well. It's not that difficult. Utilities, look at these numbers. But many of the viewers have gotten over $15,000. Well, let's look at the numbers for Combo. Wow. It was at $23,000. Now it's grown even more for Nisi. She's at over $50,000 approximately because she's still getting money. Here's Mark. He was at $32,000. Then I said to Mark, go get more. He got $50,000. Then he went to $100,000. Then he got that check B just days ago. He's at $136,000. Massive sums of money. So where do you get these MSC? What do you need to know? What you need to know when you're getting this check C is that it's easier for many people than check A and B. In the case of check C, all you need is an old 1960s rotary phone. You don't even need a computer. You don't need a cell phone. You can get it. And where do you get it? You reach out to a series of places. You make the phone call, you make the push, you pounce Purple Hawks. And congratulations to all the viewers last night in the live chat who got those big sums of money. So what do you get it? You reach out to your city hall, your city house authority. Notice they all have phones in this video? Yeah, because that's where you do it. Your county hall, your county house authority. Your state hall, and your state housing authority. Now, we had Sandy in one of the live chats yesterday saying, my state housing authority, I couldn't find it. Well, understand then some states, they use different words. So modify the words. Obviously, they're at a city level, they're at a county level, and there's a state level. And they sometimes modify the words a little bit across the board. The key words you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, utility assistance because of COVID, mortgage assistance because of COVID. You don't say words like MSC, stimulus check, or waivable lobster shorts. Then, reach out to all 6 places. But guess what? If you're a member, you will get more than 6 places to reach out to. Open that membership newsletter because guess what? You'll get another half dozen places to reach out to. You get over 15 places approximately to reach out to. Reach out to them and lean on those nonprofits because they're great. They pick up money among every single state. There is money when you include the nonprofits and the government. Get those big checks across the board. You deserve them. You can get them. It's so easy. You have done so well. Keep on pouncing and get those checks today. The average viewer of this channel has gotten $45,000. I'm so proud of you. Continue to win. Continue to be the envy of everyone else because you can do it today. Get these big checks as you have gotten before. Do it again. Get more of the checks. And if you've had a success story, post in the live chat. Whatever success you've had, whether it's $1 or $10,000, post in the live chat because you inspire other people. Get those big checks today. And how do you do it? Become a member. Go to the top of the chat, go under the description, become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP member. Then get that newsletter delivered Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system. At 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, you'll get an alert from YouTube. It looks like the alerts for videos. It'll say new LALATE post in the subject line. And then lower on that, the first line of the text will be text. It won't be a video. It'll be text, and it'll say LALATE newsletter, and I'll have that date of that delivery. And then there'll be a few more lines, but the whole newsletter won't be delivered in the alert. You'll click it, and then you'll go into YouTube where you'll be able to read the entire alert, the entire member post. It'll start with the price of wheat and grain, then check A, then check B, and check C. Meantime, make sure you do two other things, which I always thought was sort of obvious, but I'm learning now that some people never did it. So let's go over that one as well. First, subscribe. Yeah, I just assumed you would subscribe when you're a member, but apparently some people were being members and not subscribing. So make sure you subscribe. Number two, make sure you sign up for the alerts at the front of this channel. Go to the front of the YouTube channel and you'll see a little bell. On that bell, click it, hit it so that it's set for all alerts. Not personalized, but all alerts. And there you go. You can get it, and I have complete faith in you. And congratulations to all the incredible viewers. This channel approaches its 2-year anniversary, April 25th, in just a few days from now. Viewers have gotten $35 million plus in these last 2 years by pouncing as Purple Hawks, pouncing and getting the big sums of money. As we go into year 3, we are going to continue to win and continue to pounce, because that's how we do it here. We don't sit around and twiddle our thumbs and say, I don't see it landing. No, that's not what we do. You're the envy of the universe, because people look to you and say, those are people who learned, those are people who pounce, those are people who have big wads of checks in their bank account, and I wish I had done the same. Well, if you're that viewer that's wondering and wishing, don't wait any longer. Become a member right today. Now let's go into the surprise that no one saw coming, which is that 7 stimulus. Yes, stimulus packages overlap. 7 stimulus of student loan debt forgiveness, and it had major news and forgiveness this week. 3rd stimulus, 4th stimulus, and 7 stimulus are all happening at the same time. And what happened with 7 stimulus? Wow. First, the president had forgiven student loan debts for individuals who became disabled after graduation or went to work in the nonprofit public sector after graduation. That was back in January. Then this last week, the president did 3 different executive actions. Wow, he was busy. First, he said that for student loan debts that were due back this coming in May 2022, he's going to roll it over to September. So the moratorium is still in place. Number 2, he said that for student loan debts that are in default, he's going to take them out of default and make them in good standing. Wow. And then came number 3, the biggie. The President of the United States, going into the weekend, said that if your debts were the result of a university defrauding you, your debts are forgiven. That is huge. The President of the United States is making major moves, and he's not done with student loan debt. That's where we are right now, folks, and that is 7 stimulus. You see that sort of narrative where we're looking at right now? 2 stimulus checks from 4 stimulus taken out by the president by executive action. Major move on the executive action for student loan debt forgiveness. It's a lot of movement in just a few days. We're going to see what happens next this week. Now, the next part of the equation is that 6 stimulus. 6 stimulus is the trifecta of Germany, France, and the United States. And it's to deal with Vladimir Putin. What's at issue? When Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine, the White House's Chief of Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, reached out to Germany and France and said, get off of those Russian products. And Germany initially said no. And then Blinken said, you must. And then Germany said, okay, we will. We are waiting for the trifecta to come together. The German Chancellor, the French President Macron, and Joe Biden. But then Macron did not win re-election earlier last Sunday. He's now going to runoff later this month. And then Germany said, you know what? Maybe we won't get off of those Russian products. Big shocker. Big shocker. What happened with Deutsche Bank? The major German bank said if Germany does not do a stimulus package for its citizens, they're going into recession, Germany, for 2 years starting in 2023. I already told you that earlier this year. So where are we right now on that trifecta? It may have fallen apart, but at least the United States will be doing the major 6 stimulus package. It involves 3 parts of the equation: oil, then wheat, and in a new part of the equation today, China. Let's go to the situation, what's going on with that oil. First, the White House understood that to deal with the situation with oil, you need to release more gasoline. So did the White House do it right? It did not do it right. The White House, no less than 2 weeks ago, said it was going to release part of its strategic reserves, gasoline the U.S. owns, to bring down the price of gasoline internationally. I said that's not going to work. It's not enough gasoline. Did it work? It did not work. The White House is releasing 1 million barrels of gasoline per day over the next 6 months. Then, last weekend, The Western allies agreed to release 500,000 barrels a day over the next few months. Does that work at 1.5 million barrels? It does not. Why? Because Vladimir Putin qualifies for or equates to 3 million barrels a day. Putin puts out 3 million barrels a day. Those 3 million barrels are now lost, and we're replacing with 1.5. It doesn't cut it. It's too small. We don't have enough gasoline. So that is why the price of gasoline in the United States is still high. It's still tracking at 424, 414 nationwide average AAA for another week. And guess what? Can't go into May with that price point. We go into recession. Unsustainable any longer. That's the situation on the oil today. Then the situation on the wheat is actually worse. If you remember this channel, you open that membership newsletter daily, and you notice how since Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine, the price of wheat and corn has gone up. But did you look at the newsletter last week? Wow, the price of wheat and corn went even higher the last 7 days. This is higher than it was even before then, and that was a generational high. Now Wall Street analysts believe they can go even higher, as much as 40% higher. Very, very troubling across the board, and we're not done there yet with the troubling part of the equation. It's also China. 6 stimulus is also to deal with the China part of the equation, and with that China lockdown, there's a lot of recessionary pressures today. So let me go over the analysis of where we are right now. With the oil situation clearly not solved by the White House, the Western allies, 1.5 million barrels released when you're missing 3 million barrels, we're going to have a problem with that. That's going to send us into recession. Remember, the way that oil works is that if there's a shortage of it, the price goes up. Have we solved the shortage? Absolutely not. We're not even halfway there. So the price is going to stay high where it is right now. If it stays high into May, we go into recession, 2 years. Number 2, wheat and corn. It was already out of control after that first week by Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine. Where's it today? It's higher. Is it going higher? Yeah, it is. 40% higher. What about oil? Oil is much higher than even when President Biden made that announcement about the strategic reserves. It's 108, 109 Brent crude internationally in the last 48 hours. That's unsustainable. And we're not just done there yet. The next part of the equation that no one saw coming is China. Now, let me make this very clear to you, folks, is that we were dealing with the recessionary pressures of oil and wheat. We were dealing with the supply chain disruption of coming out of COVID and Vladimir Putin. And now we got China. This China problem is the second biggest economic problem of 2022. I've been saying for 2 weeks, but I did not even know that the Chinese problem was going to be this bad. How bad is it? The city of Shanghai is enormous. In population, it's larger than Texas and smaller than Florida. It's huge. It's currently 100% on lockdown today. Being on lockdown is huge economic developing details and news today. Why? They can't get their products to us, and we can't get our products made there back to us either. Massive supply chain disruption. Supply chain disruption means the products go up. Products goes up means inflation. What else? GDP, gross national product of their country, going to shrink. Their economy going to shrink. They're going to go in recession. Their economy shrinks. We go in recession. It's all interdependent. And there's no inherent solution to it. Jay Powell has nothing to do in his toolbox to fix supply chain disruption in China. He has nothing he can do about this whatsoever. Which is why the situation where it is today is actually going to get worse economically. Where are we right today? My prediction already, as I've been reporting on this channel for over a month, is that the U.S. economy already has 2 industries in recession, and the rest are going into recession later this year for 2 years. The first 2 industries already in recession by my equation are housing. First, the housing industry has suffered major hits in the last few days. First, the new housing starts, which refers to how many homes are sold, is down for 4 consecutive months. Can't do that at the boom time of the entire year, February, March. This is when people sell their homes. Next, the mortgage rate is killing the housing industry, 5%, the highest of a generation. Third, you can't repair or build the home because the cost is so high because of supply chain disruption. And that is causing inability to repair the home, inability to build the home. And then when you try to sell the home, you don't have a buyer because 5% mortgage rate, no one can afford it. I've also been reporting that the auto industry is already in recession because after 1 year in which the auto industry said, you know, we can just stick it to you at the dealer, throw 20% on top of the MSRP, they can't even get a buyer. Buyer demand is down in auto, And then supply chain disruption is hurting auto because they can't get the component parts to make the car, like the seat belts, like the chip shortages. My prediction at the moment is that two parts of the U.S. economy, auto and housing, are in recession, but the rest will be in recession by the end of the year. Recession is signaled by zero or very low GDP numbers, like 1% or lower. Normally, GDP is negative a percentage point in recession. But many analysts today are now saying this is going to be like any other recession. Why? Because usually a recession, you have a situation where the inflation is negative inflation. This recession will have inflation, and it'll also have a negative growth. So in all those views, in all those elements, it's important to grab every check that's available. And how I have dedicated myself over the last 2 years is how you should dedicate yourself every day. I've dedicated myself to getting every check that I can get viewers, and you've done so well. In those last 2 years, the tens of millions of dollars that viewers have gotten from this channel is because I've looked for the check, I've given you the information about the check, and you've pounced and you got to the check. It's the importance of pouncing, getting every check today at issue, because this economy is changing by the minute. We can predict some things, but we can't predict things like a subvariant of Omicron taking entire city of Shanghai onto lockdown and impacted our U.S. economy. And that is why when there's 3 checks that I find for you, you pounce and get them across the board. And they are Check A, a $6,500 check available right now. Get it right today. A $15,000 to $80,000 four-symbol check available right now. And an MSC check available right now. Because of the required membership of the channel, you can get check A, B, and or C. Get it today. If you haven't become a member right today. Go to the top of the chat or in the description. Become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Get that incredible newsletter. Get these checks, pounce, and get these big sums of money. And get that newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You'll be the jealousy of your friends and your neighbors because they will ask how you got those checks. Like Johnny, a longtime viewer. His neighbors had heard that he was getting these big checks from this channel, and he helped dozens of people get money. How much did he get them? $820,000. He helped dozens and dozens of neighbors who heard that he was watching this channel, that he was getting the money and getting money for his family. Then he helped the neighbors. It grew. That is a true spirit of pouncing as a Purple Hawk. As we go into big day, next up is noontime. Then the 1 o'clock afternoons, then a brand new afternoons at 3 o'clock, and a brand new evenings at 5 o'clock. Make sure you become a member. And with that, the toast was toast and the butter was buttering, but a little bit more expensive because of supply chain disruption. And the bacon was missing. I'll blame it on supply chain for now. Hopefully, when all the supply chain disruption is over, I'll find my bacon. But, I can only hope so much. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful day, and I'll see you throughout the day as LA continues with your breaking news. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.